All right, guys. I wanted to get on real quick and make this video. I don't even really know what there is to be said about this, but I don't know. It's kind of sticking out to me right now more than ever. So what it is I want to talk about is Instagram, right? And I don't have TikTok, so I can't speak for TikTok. I don't know what's going on TikTok, but so you guys may have heard the joke that our phones are constantly listening to us, right? That the idea that oh, well, my phone heard me talking about getting a dog, so it, gave me this, or I talked about going to this restaurant, so it gave me an ad for this, right? I'm gonna try to take it a little bit deeper than that, because I wanted to get into the Instagram algorithm and what the heck is going on with that, genuinely, because recently, in the past month, me and MJ, we parted ways, right? Which is really unfortunate, right? It makes me really sad. And I'm making a joke, but I'm actually being serious. So I did have a relationship end, and but anyways, yeah. So on Instagram, it's just I don't do anything to search for any of this stuff. I get onto my Instagram and I go to my explore feed, and it's basically everything that I want to see, right? And all of it is whether it be bugs, nature, figures, whatever, video games, you know what I mean. And it's I'll click on something that I want to see, like a really cool figure or whatever, and then I'll go scroll 2 times down, and it's this video, this breakup video that is pertaining exactly and hits all of the chords, bullet notes of what I'm feeling. And I ask myself, because I'm not gonna lie, I watch some of these and I'm like, wow, I'm really sad now. It makes me feel really sad. And so I ask myself, am I actually really, sad about this situation, or am I sad because this video is making me feel sad? And obviously the answer is a little bit of both, but more so because this video is interacting with me, kind of almost on a spiritual level, because of where my emotions are at and where my thoughts are at. And I don't maybe not spiritual level, but it's definitely influencing me negatively. It's making me, whether it makes me really sad, whether it makes me want to go and cry, whether it actually makes me cry, right? And with all of this being said, what is the purpose? And I don't want to get into, well, the answer of how they're actually figuring this stuff out, but I genuinely really do believe that there's some type of plot to basically know everything about everyone. Anyone that has a cell phone, the idea is that it is trying to literally learn everything about you. That's kind of how I feel. And obviously that was going on 10 years ago with, starting 10 years ago, getting the ads from being listened to or anything like that. But man, this is a lot more heavy. I'm not going to lie, because I feel like the implications are a lot more severe. And I'll I guess try to explain what I mean by that. Okay, so for example, right, I'm trying to go throughout my daily life. I go onto social media, and by one way or another, it knows exactly what I'm going through. And therefore, it feeds me a video, and I get sad. And then I get another video, and I get sad. And I just keep going down this hole of getting sad, and I'm more sad, and I'm more sad, and I keep watching these videos, right? But again, if I didn't watch any of these videos, would I have ever been sad about whether it be my relationship or whatever? And I ask myself that, and it's realistically, no, I would have had my mind on something else entirely. And obviously, for me, I'm, I guess, at a point where I am aware, I look at that, I recognize it's making me sad. I've had it for a couple weeks, and now I'm at a point where I'm just seeing it for kind of what it is. And what it is it's an algorithm designed to make me sad. So why would an algorithm want me to be sad? Why would an algorithm want to know me so badly that it directs all of these basically videos to me? None of them are positive, by the way. All of these are you've lost the love of your life forever and you'll never be happy. And it's obviously, again, hyperbole. but not really. It's like, what is going on? And I just watch these videos and I'm like, I might be screwed, right? And then I think that, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm thinking that I might be screwed because, again, I am basically allowing myself to take in what this algorithm is making me feel. So again, I mentioned what are the negative implications of that, right? And you could take that event and me being aware of it as like kind of a small issue because it is what it is. But what if, for all of the new generations that are being raised on social media, literally from the beginning of their life, by the way, a lot of parents aren't monitoring that. I know for a fact if I were to have kids, I'm going to monitor that, right? And whenever we are in a situation right now, and as a country we are, where the education system is at an all-time low, we are at an all-time high for illiteracy, an all-time high for all of these different horrible things, but an all-time low for education. Guys, it's not good. And you ask yourself, again, okay, Spider-Man, what's the negative implication? So what happens whenever you have an entire generation of young children that are being raised on an algorithm that wants them to feel a specific way? And for me, right now, whatever and why ever that is, it wants me to feel sad, right? But what if I was a young, impressionable, moldable kid, and what would it want me to feel then? It could make me feel anything. If it can make me, at my age, and give me a video so specific that it can bring tears to my eyes of sadness. Imagine what that could do to a young child's brain. Genuinely. That's obviously not good at all. And again, I don't know if this is going on TikTok too. I'm speaking for Instagram, but Instagram, what's going on? And obviously there are other things that I have issues with Instagram, like, it hasn't happened in months, but I know that there's a point where like I would be getting like these. I'm just not gonna hold back. Basically, these chicks in bikinis with their entire bodies out, right? And I'm thinking, there is absolutely no reason why I want to see this on my screen. If I want to see that, I need to go call Catwoman and actually get some play, right? And I don't need to see that on a phone. I don't need to see an image of it, right? And so it's like that kind of bothers me. And so every time that I'd get onto my Explorer and I'd maybe see one or two of those pictures, I'd hit, uninterested, and then you hit uninterested and refresh your feed, and there's like 5 more, and then you uninterest all of them, and there's like 10 more, and it's like a hydra, and you're like, what is going on? I don't know if that was Instagram trying to, like that was a very specific point, and since then I haven't had an issue with it. So whatever it is, they fixed it, right? But again, it's very concerning because, again, for like a young boy, imagine me at 8 years old, bro. I'm getting these pictures of these women on my Instagram. Do you think I'm hitting uninterested? And that's what I mean. It's like, obviously, again, this stuff isn't really an issue for someone, who is at the point in their life where they can kind of see through this, right? But for those who are younger, right, or just not able to kind of see that this is very obviously like a trap, right? It's like one of those Vietnamese foot traps. You get your foot in it and then you're screwed, right? And in this situation, you're not screwed, but I do think that by constantly allowing yourself to, like, for instance, consume these videos of like constantly about like heartbreak, or even just like the almost naked women stuff, I really think that degrades you a ton. I think that destroys you emotionally. I think that you're just not. I don't know. I don't really know what to say about that. That's just, and you guys do whatever you want to do, right? I'm not judging anyone. I think that whatever you want to do, as long as it's not hurting anyone, do it. That's just me. I think that if you want to try to be happier and you want to not fall into degradation, I think you should stay away from that. But that's going to be on the point. Anyways, all of this algorithm stuff is very concerning. And obviously, again, we're moving towards an age where everyone is connected technologically, and this includes children on the most part. In fact, I would believe that I would argue that children make up maybe 25 to anywhere to 40, to somewhere close to 0.5% of the internet right now, and children obviously being those under 18, right? And I guess maybe that's not an accurate statement. Children maybe would be like 13, and then I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just gonna say anyone under 18 is probably half the internet, if not more. And again, these people are very impressionable, and what are the implications of that, and how can the people who are in charge of the coding and the algorithms and all of that, what can they do to influence us? And you ask yourself, are these good people that are in charge of these companies? Well, I'm not going to be the one to answer that. I mean, I would very much advise that you do your own research, and I think that me and you both, despite me not saying my answer, are going to come to the same conclusion. I would hope. I can only be optimistic. However, I actually did kind of, this is one of those things that I was like, I don't really know if I want to come on here and make a video about it. But I did feel like it was important enough because, yeah, this is happening to me now. I'm sure it's happening to millions of people where they're like, why is my Instagram giving me something that's so pertainable? I feel like I'm fitting in. I must just be going through something that is so relatable. But in reality, it's like, yeah, it's relatable, maybe to an extent, but why is it giving it to you at a time in which, you were more susceptible to that video making you feel that way, right? Just food for thought. Why would it do that? I don't know. I guess you would have to ask yourself, what would anyone do not to do, but what does anyone do with negative energy that's harvested? Probably look that one up too. You'll find a really interesting answer. Maybe, I don't know. And I have no idea how any of the algorithm stuff works or anything like that. And I really do try to stay away from all of this. So for any of you who are like, oh, well, you're just watching it and that's why it's giving you more. Like I'm clicking uninterested. I'm not. And no matter what I do, it's coming back. Right. And again, that's not even the point. The point is just like, I really have a lot of concerns for how an algorithm like this could influence an entire group of people, right? It could literally take them from wherever they're at in their life and derail them. It could, cause psychosis. It could cause permanent depression. It could cause anxiety. It could cause whatever, anything. Literally all brought on by videos that you think are like, you're like, oh my gosh, one video after another is just hitting the nail on the head. And in reality, it's like, yeah, it is hitting the nail on the head. And you have to ask yourself, why is it doing that? Instead of asking yourself, why am I, constantly feeling like this every day? You should ask yourself, why is my social media feeding me this every day? And that was honestly kind of everything that I wanted to say with that. I'm sure that you guys could derive your own negative consequences as to how an algorithm that literally breeds on hatred and sadness and depression could probably be bad as an overarching, monitoring system for society as we continue to grow and mold, and it will be. Again, just food for thought. I'll end it with this. Just always be aware of this stuff, guys. Always kind of try to take a step back mentally and observe situations to get a better perspective and to be more open-minded about it, as opposed to just looking at something and immediately taking that for what it is. Often that's not how things are, but often it's how they are. Sorry, often it's how they're presented, right? So, and also derivative, but for anyone, struggling with any of this, whether it be relationship, friendship, whatever, you're sad and you're going on social media and you're seeing all the stuff that makes you feel sad, literally just stop doing it. Stop going on to social media for a while, right? Because like I said, you can hit uninterested all you want, but at the end of the day, how much of these emotions would you really feel towards this if you weren't constantly consumed in this type of media? I hope that you guys, really try to continue to be good people, and I hope that all of you guys know that you're awesome and that you were incredibly loved. And I love you guys. All of you. Y'all have a good one. I'm sure I'll be back on here soon and probably make a video tomorrow with my roommate. So be looking forward to that. All right. See you guys around.